Hey, good day, everybody. It is Joe. We're back for the moral truth. I'm with Kobe. Kobe, where you at?
Hey, this is Kobe out here hitting you guys live from the East Coast. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend and are ready to get a great weekend ahead. Joe and I are out here just trying to give you guys the moral truth. About y'all situations.
Exactly. Now, so we talked about leadership last week, and we got some good feedback back. We actually issued out to a couple people, and we put it in rotation so everybody can actually listen to it. And Kobe did it on the East Coast. I did it here on the West Coast. We got some good feedback, right, Kobe?
Oh yeah, we did. We had a lot of feedback from a lot of different, ladies and some gentlemen, and they gave us a lot of, a lot of feedback.
Exactly, exactly. And just to go ahead and start this off, personally, I got some feedback too, and the one biggest thing was because I really put out there. I said, being a leader, if everybody else around you is doing good, then pretty much that's the basis of you being a leader is making everybody around you great. And if you're not doing that, then how can you call yourself a leader? Now, somebody actually brought to me the question is, okay, I understand that, but what about those individuals that you really can't make great? You know, they said, hey, you can lead a horse to water, but if it doesn't drink, then is that on me? So, Kobe, what do we got on that?
I would say as a leader, there's a lot of tools in the shed to utilize. To try to make that, make them drink or however. But sometimes you just got to change the watering hole, man. Like sometimes people just don't flow in that work center, or maybe they just, they're not that great there. But as a leader, you would know they might be better somewhere else, and that's when it comes into defining what a leader is. As a leader, you got to know your people.
Hey, that was a good point. That was a good point. I definitely agree on that because you got to put people in a position where they're going to succeed. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to succeed in everything that you want them to do because they not might be that talented or have that knowledge to. And if you put them in a position that you know they're going to succeed, then ultimately you're still going to succeed. So pretty much, I guess the caveat off what we're saying is that you have to set that person up for success and his or her strong point. Like you
Oh
just
yeah.
can't throw them to the wolves, and that's where it dictates that.
Yeah, you don't want to set anybody up for failure, man. That's not the goal in life. It's just like that anywhere you go. You get there, you get to a new job or a business, whatever, and they give you the expectations and they kind of teach you for the first week or two, and then from there they expect you to, walk, crawl, run, or crawl, walk, run. Sorry, but regardless, though, if you go to a business and you've been given all these tools and you just, the leader sees that you're really struggling or whatever the case. That's when that decision needs to be made. That hey, let's change the watering hole and get them to somewhere that might be more useful. You know what I mean? Better in the workplace, and you can advance better. But that's all on being a good leader. Because a lot of leaders will just watch you sit there and fail, and then just kind of push you out.
Chalk it up as a loss. Yep. So the next thing I got also is females in the workplace, and somebody said, "Hey, were we just basing off of males versus females?" I said, "No. This whole topic was for everyone." But I did say when we got that critique about the females is I did say this, and I'm going to put it out there. My women out here in the workplace are strong, and the reason why they are strong because every day they are working against the odds, and they're proving themselves every day in day out. Now, honestly, I don't think they have to prove themselves. You're here to do a job. Hey, I respect that. But here we go, Kobe. This is a big question. Why is it easier for a woman in the workplace to take charge or be have kind of better leadership tendencies or able to make I feel like there's no holdback for a female. They'll let you know a X, Y, and Z to kind of get the problem started so that way it can get fixed in the most direct manner. How do you feel about that?
Joe, if I had to say anything about the female side of business aspect, I wouldn't even say female. You know what I mean? It's all the same. But I will note, and I do notice that in the work center, at least where I have worked and where I have been in my experiences in life, a female, yeah, definitely strong in the work center, and they definitely will be very outspoken about what's happening and what's going on and changes that can be made, vice over, males typically. Not that anything's different, it's all the same, but regardless, I have noticed that more. And I'm not sure why. I mean, maybe it's just the more moral courage that they have, to speak up or whatever and be more heard in the workplace. But with them being, typically in work centers that I've worked in, especially in the military, the females are 1 to every 10 probably. And that definitely probably, you know, gives them more moral courage to stand up and say something because they kind of feel maybe outnumbered. I'm not sure. But that's what I would say to that.
Hey, I say that true, but I say damn that because it doesn't matter what sex you are. You can be a leader, male, female, other.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter. But I do know for a fact I have worked with females before who were in charge, and I actually had a better experience working for them because, you know, off the back, if there's something's wrong, oh, they're gonna bring it up instant, instantaneous. Let me tell you that they're gonna bring it up on point. Now, males, I hate to say this, but we have some timid males out there, and I'm gonna need y'all to, put on your big boy trousers, and you need to start speaking up a little bit because the counterpart will definitely outshine you because I think they just may be a tad bit a little hungrier than the other counterpart. But speaking on that, yeah, I definitely think that is a good good aspect on it.
Yeah, I would really just say that. I mean, like I said in the beginning of this, um, I don't look at female, male any different. I mean, it's all the same to me. And I think really it just comes from your background. You know what I mean? Where you came from. Typically, what I see is like if you had a family of 10 people in a family or something like that, and you grew up with 10 brothers or whatever, or 9 brothers and 1 female was there or whatever, she's gonna be a strong ass female because you know what I mean. She's gonna be killing it. I mean, she's used to getting playing around with her brothers and fighting the fight, and she's tough as nails. You know what I mean. And then if not, and it's the other way around. You got 9 sisters and 1 brother. That dude's gonna be really well versed and being able to talk to people and being empathetic with things or whatever. And it's just kind of life experience. You know what I mean. It kind of just all really comes from how you came up and where you came from. If someone's the only you know brother or sister in a family, or just one person, just a single child or whatever, they might be a little more timid than others, just the way they were brought up, depending on how their parents raise them. And that's really just how it is. That's where your morals start, and your morals all start with your parents and how you were raised.
I mean that is a good point. I mean that's a good point. You can definitely throw that in there about how you were raised, your upbringing. But in all honesty, I definitely got to say that at one point in time, you use that upbringing, and as you get older and you start learning more experiences in the world, you have to change your demeanor because if not, then the world's going to pass you right on by, and you'll be left in the same place that you were when you started. So
Oh yeah,
you got to
you
take
know
some
what?
action.
That brings up a really good point to how I was going off of that, the caveat. But I mean, a lot of people nowadays, everybody's going for college degrees, vice experience. I mean, experience is still out there, but college degrees are great. And if you go straight from home at 17 years old, 18 years old, and go right into college, and maybe you want to go to the military or a technical route or whatever, I mean, how much time have you really had to grow? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we're gonna say that 4 years of college is not really growing time. That is 4 years of ultimate party time. Okay, we all
Yeah.
know this. We all know this. But as a single aspect, that's it's true. You're still gonna have to grow into your role. Person that comes out of college, 4 years, no experience, gets to the workplace. Um, your leadership is probably a 1 to 10. You're at a one because you never. The only thing you had to lead it with yourself, and that was to get in from point A to point B. Now you're talking about you're getting to a workplace. Maybe you got about 5, 10, most 40 people under you. You probably don't know exactly what to do, and now the walls are crumbling down on you.
And I 100% agree with that. And we typically end up seeing that, at least on the military side of the fence, when it comes to new officers that come out of school and graduate. You can definitely tell that, yes, they've been through some training, but they still don't have that actual experience with, working with the actual Marines and or employees on the floor. You know what I mean? You just don't see it, but they learn real quick, and they learn over time. But sometimes it takes them a little longer than others, and that can be frustrating. You know what I mean? As a lower individual or lower ranking individual, to see a leader that has no idea what he's doing, can be very frustrating.
True, true. Now this is a big question I got. And somebody asked me, and he's very, very, very younger gentleman. And his biggest thing was, he said, "Hey, Joe." I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "I got a question. Young, coming up, trying to be a leader. And, do you think leadership can be taught in a classroom environment?" I said, "No." What do you think, Kobe?
I don't know. That's a good one right there. I mean, I would say that most of the population in today's day and age, we learn from hands-on experience. I mean, how many
Exactly.
times have you seen in the work center Marines or any military branch that we've had to come in contact with learn from a publication or a classroom setting? I mean, not very often.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's something you can say, "Hey, you're going to go to a 8 week course. When you come back, you're going to be an official leader with a little paper cert." This is not like airspeed. We're not trying to do like yellow belt training. This is definitely not like a formal school. Leadership is something that it takes time and it's more development. And I'm gonna be honest with you, um, not everybody was put on this planet to lead, and that's where the biggest thing is. You're always gonna have leaders, and you're always gonna have a plethora of followers because guess what? There have to be those are the ones who are, I think, mild timid, and they want to see you direct them to the promised land versus them directing somebody else to the promised land.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I mean that's why you have to change the watering hole based on the person, because as a leader you might see that they can't handle a task and make sure it's complete and understood and it's finished and it's done within a timely manner. Sometimes time management's a problem and there's a lot of other factors that vary, but leadership, you're right, is not for everyone. It's really not, and you won't know until you get there, and then you try to lead, or you try to give someone an assigned task and maybe a lower management level, and you didn't follow up with it, and then it burns you, and you learn along the way. But I agree, it is not for everyone.
Exactly. It would for everyone. Then I guess that everybody would be coaching like a professional sports league. Hey, Jerry Jones, if you do need a coach assistance, hey, hit me up. Joe the Moral Truth. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Jerry. But it is one of the things, and like we said, I definitely don't think it's something you can teach. It's something that is built in that person, and they have to have that inside mentality, inside will to be able to make change, enforce change. Hold people accountable, speak up when you need to be, and you just have to be able to be knowledgeable too, man. Because sometimes like if you're not knowledgeable, like I said, and I talked about that week one. If you're not knowledgeable, by all means, don't lead me, because if you don't know knowledge, then you cannot lead.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, what are you bringing to the table? I mean, that's why college is typically the first thing that a lot of employers will look for, is just because you have that knowledge already, even though we all know tests are crammed and you don't retain half that information. But I will say, besides life experiences, as you were just saying, Joe, like the being a leader, having it instilled in you, I mean, yeah, that's one aspect of it, but you got to be, you can't be selfish as a leader. You cannot be selfish as a leader. You got to put yourself to the side and look at your people, and you really, really got to genuinely think about your people. I mean, that's why we're out here doing the moral truth. I mean, the morals that are inside of you, that are ingrained inside of you, that are who you are and who you want to become, you have to be you can't be selfish, should I say. You cannot be as a leader. Can't.
Yeah, that's true. You really can't be selfish. But I'd say this though, it's one thing is if you're if you're looking out for everybody else as a leader, you cannot forget about yourself. And I say that you can't be selfish too, but you got to be able to balance it too, because at the same time, as you look for everybody else, at one point in time, there's something that you may need, and you're neglecting to fill it because you are taking care of everybody else. So you do got to make sure as a leader that, hey, take care of yourself too in that equation. Make some time for you to find improvement, because be open to criticism so you can seek improvement on yourself, because we are not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. Kobe, I know you're not perfect because last segment you're eating cheeseburgers, and I'm pretty sure you're doing something else over there you're not supposed to do.
I don't know about all that. but I'll tell you that yes, sometimes you do gotta make sure that you're doing the most for yourself. Keeping yourself in mental and top physical shape when you're out there leading. I mean, perception's reality. I've heard that a million times in my career. However, yeah, can't be selfish, and yes, you got to make sure you take care of yourself. But I would say it's really important, aside from taking care of yourself, to make sure that you almost like reward yourself. You know what I mean? To give you the motivation to keep pressing on. Because as a leader, the guy above you, he's not going to pat you on the back. As a leader, you're going to lead and do what you're supposed to do as a leader, and don't be selfish. And the reward's going to be, seeing those people that you've trained, or seeing those, successes that they've made along the way. That's going to be your reward. And then on the back end, you got to make sure that you kind of reward yourself, personally, individually, so that see, what I did, you feel great about it. And then your week's awesome because now you've seen people that have succeeded based on your training.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, we can go on for days and days, and we're gonna drop a part three for this. But in closing, it's basically we say, hey, it's not something you can learn in the classroom. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. I honestly do believe that females are really better at getting their point across than males. Bless them. But we have to find that balance. Even if you're trying to be a leader in the making, you got to find that balance to be able to affect change in your workplace or wherever you work. Doesn't matter if you're working for Amazon. Doesn't matter if you're working as a cashier. At one point in time, when you get to management level, keyword is manager, right? You need to manage your personnel. So how are you going to do that? You got to be effective. So what you got on this, Alex Kobe?
I mean, I would just say the caveat off of what you just said. Managing your people, like, I mean, there ain't nothing much more to say about it. Being a leader, that's all it's about. Knowing that watering hole, knowing those ins and outs, knowing where your people fit best. I mean, that's the most important thing you can do as a leader. If you don't do that, how can you be effective? I mean, everything goes hand in hand, and once you have one thing off, it's like this, it's like the parts don't fit, they don't line up. So it's just how it is. But I mean, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Weeks ahead, and the weekend was great. It was Mother's Day weekend. Shout out to all the moms out there. Hope you all
Yes,
had a
yes,
wonderful
yes.
weekend and a great Mother's Day. And back to you, Joe.
Hey, like Kobe said, bless out to all the moms out there, the moms who are, in the process of being a mom, or you're taking on the responsibility of being a mom. Hey, today is that Mother's Day is for you. At the same time, hey, I appreciate you guys for listening to the Moral Truth. Keep grinding, keep on your ups. All right, stay blessed, and you got to remember too, fight for what you believe in. All right, and if it's either that's love or whatever you thinking, hey, it takes two, and you have to fight every day to make that work. Dropping another segment later on the week. Hope you are well. Stay blessed, my people.